This is not only a requirement of legislative processes in some provinces, it's also necessary to ensure local standards of practice reflect the histories, values, and perspectives of First Nations. So they'll throw some feathers in the pod with you. Working collaborations with regional Indigenous health authorities and advisory bodies individually or through formation of a collective advisory body could be the most effective and timely way to proceed. I mean, it really seems like they're trying to convince Indians to kill themselves. Due to the sensitive nature of these consultations, local Indigenous communities may choose to seek advice from elders, knowledge keepers with respect to ancestral spiritual knowledge and teachings related to assisted dying. The federal government should play an active role in supporting the development of provincial and territorial systems of MAID case review for educational and quality improvement things. Elderly persons with mental disorders. One of the implications of the current legislation is that physically frail elderly person or an elderly person with multiple medical comorbidities seeking MAID primarily due to a mental disorder could be eligible under the Track 1 safeguards. Under current MAID law, a person with physical conditions accepted as a serious and incurable illness, disease, or disability, but who's in an advanced state of irreversible declining and enduring intolerable suffering are primarily due to a mental disorder, could meet the legislative definition of egregious and irredeemable medical condition. Thus, two people seeking MAID for a mental disorder, one who is frail or has multiple medical comorbidities and is elderly, and one who is not, might be approached differently.
I mean, that intellectual disability one is interesting because that's going to be talked about. That'll be me, yeah.
As noted above, the federal government has stated that people with neurodevelopmental and intellectual disabilities are not covered by the mental illness exclusion clause. This means they may request or be considered eligible for MAID at present. So that's like the autistic kids. However, some of the concerns raised about mental disorders could also apply to a person with intellectual disabilities. The panel identified 4 possible scenarios of requests involving this group of persons. 1, a person with an intellectual disability and a comorbid physical condition whose natural death is reasonably foreseeable. A person with cancer, terminal cancer. A person with an intellectual disability and a comorbid physical condition whose natural death is not reasonable foreseeable. Example, a person with epilepsy. 3, a person with an intellectual disability and a mental disorder. And 4, a person with an intellectual disability alone. The first 2 categories of people could potentially be eligible for MAID on the basis of their physical condition. Such requests could proceed under Track 1 and Track 2 safeguards, respectively. Persons in the 3rd and 4th categories may also be potentially eligible if their intellectual disabilities are taken to be serious and incurable illness, disease, or disability, like autism.